views and opinions expressed by guests and or comments are those of the persons who submitted them and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of In the Clutch Sports Talk and More podcast. Any content provided by guests are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company of any individual or anyone or anything. Lily May handmade aromatherapy products offer several essential oil-based and fragrance-based products. Our line includes a myriad of body butter, creams, bath bombs, lip balms, and so much more. Our products are handmade with focal points of integrity, quality, and wellness. Add Lily May to your self-care routine and enjoy the benefits of aromatherapy. Welcome to In the Clutch Sports Talk and More podcast. I am your host, D. Early. Before I introduce my co-host, I
have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the Super Bowl with all those weapons and defeating the Kansas City Chiefs and becoming the 2020-21 Super Bowl champions.
don't know if y'all noticed the look on my face when he said that, but welcome to the show, my co-host T, the GOAT, Will.
What it do, what it do, what it do.
Man.
I should have changed my name to Nostradamus.
Yeah, you should have, because
Nostradamus.
Man, look, I'm the type of person I give you credit when you hit it, when you hit the nail on the head. I give you credit for it. You called it.
It gives our show credibility, man. It's like we know what we're talking about. At least one of us do. But before we go any farther, man, don't put some respect on my name, man. Don't put T Wheels, TWILLS with apostrophe after the S. You put T Wheels after the apostrophe after the L. Show me some respect, man. Show me some respect.
Man, anyway.
You got to deal with this all day. You got to deal with this all day long, man.
I
am so happy, man. Who is the smartest guy in the world and why am I?
Okay, so wait a minute now. Wait a minute. You got did you see what I put on there? You got the matchup right. It's yet to be seen if the whole prophecy come true, because you got Tampa Bay over Kansas City. Are you still sticking with it? I guess that's the question I should ask.
Yes, I'm gonna still stick with it, man.
Yeah, you ain't got no choice.
I'm gonna stick with it. Yeah, but like I said, as of this show, I'm perfect. I'm dead on the money. So let's quit talking about what's gonna happen in 2 weeks and all that. Let's quit talking about what's gonna happen in 2 weeks. Let's talk about what's going on right now, and that's T. Will gave you your Super Bowl prediction before the season, and now it has come to pass. T. Hard, what it do, my guy? T. Hard, that's my guy there, baby. What's going on? Come on over this weekend for drinks, baby, so we can celebrate this milestone. What's going on, man? You know what I'm saying? I try to inject some knowledge in this guy over here, man, but he don't ever want to listen. But T. Hard, you know how smart I am.
Man, look. You lucked up. Kansas City wasn't a big reach to get back. So I ain't gonna give you too much credit on that. Picking Tom Brady down, I give you some credit on that. And as far as this GOAT talk you talking about, I'm gonna say this. Tom Brady, to come over to the NFC and to beat Drew Brees, which of course we know it wasn't the same Drew Brees. You agree with that, right? It wasn't the same Drew Brees, same whatever, but it still was Drew Brees. Then to go and beat Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay after Aaron Rodgers don't put up an MVP type of season, And then if he can beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, I might have to consider him. He'll be more consideration for the GOAT then. I mean, you almost can't deny him then. Almost can't, but most definitely the most accomplished quarterback ever.
Good morning, Kerry. Good morning. Good morning, Stephen. How you doing? Looking forward to some of your expertise on this show, so we can sort of show this young man that we know what we're talking about. And when
Now
you get
you
through talking, he ain't got to. He don't have to be Mahomes to be the GOAT, man. This guy that went to his 10th Super Bowl, dude. He done won 6 of them. What else do you want? What else? I don't know what it is. I don't know what Tom Brady did to you or whatever, but you always had in the past been a fair person and all that. What kind of stats from another previous individual can you compare this guy to in the quarterback position?
Okay,
Stop.
so no. So what you're saying is rings matter.
Yeah, rings matter. That's the ultimate goal. Win the Super Bowl, dude. He's got
Okay.
6 Super Bowl rings.
Okay, so who is your GOAT in basketball?
See, there you start going around with that, man. I'm gonna tell you something. Michael Jordan is the GOAT, but
No, ain't no but.
no, it is a but, because if LeBron gets him a couple more rings, then we're gonna have to revisit that.
Okay, but you just said if the rings matter, it shouldn't be Michael Jordan or LeBron. Bill Russell got 11.
Man,
So why?
Bill Russell was playing against centers that was 5. Don't give me that Bill Russell stuff,
So
man.
now we got
Bill Russell, Bill Russell, man, come on, man. Bill Russell, he's 7'2". Bill Russell 7'2", with a long wingspan, just like Kevin Durant, and it's just like you guarding him. Who gonna stop him? You can't compare that era to this era, man.
Now we can't compare eras, but
Man, come
you
on,
want to
man.
say, see, that's what I'm saying. So I'm like you now. What's the criteria?
Look, we're not going through all that no more. We ain't going through all that no more. We talking about Bill Russell played 50 years ago, man. Okay.
I'm gonna say this.
And it's a whole body of work. It's the stats. It's not just championships. You're going by stats and stuff too. Bill Russell didn't have no outstanding scoring stats. Will Chamberlain did. But Bill Russell did. Bill Russell had championships. So what? Robert Ory had 5. What kind of stats did he have? He just came up clutch in big moments. So you can't just go by just no championships there.
I mean, well, that's what you just said. You just said Tom Brady got more rings. But if you look at it, okay, if you just go by the rings and you go by the championship games, okay, I can say he shouldn't even made it the year the Raiders he played the Raiders in the AFC Championship.
Oh, don't give me that. What he should have did, man. Okay, take one from him. Okay, we'll let you take that from him. He still got.
I can say more than one. I can say more than one.
Okay, well, let's talk about the ones that he could have got that he got beat out of. Does anything ring a bell about the Patriots playing somebody that they should have won the ball game in the Super Bowl?
Who?
I'm just asking you a question.
And I just
of the 4 Super Bowls that he's lost to the Giants twice, right?
So okay, so I mean, what?
Those games was winnable games. Those games, if it wasn't for that great catch by Tyree on one of them, where he pinned the ball up there to his helmet, Tom Brady would have had another one now. So if you want to wash him out,
now you saying if. I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm doing the if because you said the if. So you said the Raiders should have been one. I said I give you that. I give you that. The Raiders should have been one. But what about the Tyree catch?
When you say greatest, like you said, you got to have some rings to back it up. But you got to look at the whole picture. And Brady is not the greatest quarterback of all time. He's the most accomplished, but he's not the greatest.
Okay, so he's the number 2 overall in passing yards in NFL history. He's wait a minute. He's number 2. He's number 2 in all-time touchdowns passed.
Because he played how many years?
It don't matter.
In what division? Against who?
Dude,
Okay, yeah.
he can't control. He can't control who he playing. He still had to go through the Steelers. He still had to go through the Steelers and the Ravens back in his day over there. So don't make no excuses.
You didn't say the Steelers and the Ravens, but you playing 6 games against the Jets, Buffalo, and who else in that division? Miami every year.
Okay, so that gives them a division
yards than that playing against.
Okay, so that's a division championship. Okay, but what happened when they get out of the division and go to the playoff and play the tougher teams in the AFC? What that's what they're doing.
We got
and make so bad about it. And you gonna give this guy credit.
We got all kinds of issues with them.
Man, look, man, who are you, Judge? You ain't got no skeletons in your closet. You ain't did nothing in the past.
I ain't saying that. What I'm saying,
I'm not saying Spygate was good, but just because you deflate the ball 3 inches, is 3 inches deflated for both teams. So I don't give much credence on a deflated football.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Okay.
You play with your own balls. The other team don't play with your football. You play with your own football.
Well, at the end of the day, he has the stats.
I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. I'm not even saying
you're right. He's a great quarterback. He's a great quarterback.
He's not a great quarterback. I'm just saying he's not the greatest quarterback.
Okay. Well, who's the greatest?
The most accomplished? I give him that.
Who's the greatest?
Most accomplished, but not the greatest.
Who's the greatest?
Oh, do I have to say it?
No, I'm just asking.
I'm still gonna say Joe Montana the greatest quarterback.
Man, you can't get no Joe. Joe Montana is not even in the top 10 in passing yards in the career. He's not even in the top 10 in touchdowns thrown, and he only has 4 Super Bowls. So
he got what? He got 4 Super Bowls. He got 4 Super Bowls.
That's what I said. I said he ain't got no more. I say he don't have more than 4 Super Bowls.
Okay, well he got 4.
So he don't. He has 4.
I mean, you got 4 in how many years? Brady played for 20 years. Brady was in the system. Brady was in. I mean, they handed. I mean, you basically got handed a game every year in the AFC Championship because of the division you in.
Okay, dude. Okay, so Montana, he didn't play with no great people. He didn't play with Jerry Rice. He didn't play with none of the weapons. He didn't have no running backs. Oh, that's right. San Francisco really didn't have a defense and all that. What you mean? What it got to do with it? You got Tom Brady. You got Tom Brady playing over there with a receiver or nobody's. He only had 1 top-notch receiver pretty much in his whole career, and that was Randy Moss, and he only stayed for 2 years.
And what happened?
And in those 2 years, he didn't even win. He didn't win the Super Bowl.
Did he win a championship? Did he win a championship with him?
But you're speaking my point. He won with a lot less talented individuals on his team, dude.
No, if you the GOAT, and then you got. If you the GOAT and then you got arguably another one of the greatest receivers and you still can't win it, I mean, come on.
So let me ask you a question. I'm gonna break it down when you played basketball over at Treadwell. You was one of the greatest. You was one of the GOATs over there. So you're telling me I shouldn't consider you one of the GOATs if Reg Jones didn't pull down 5 rebounds? If he instead of getting his 10 rebounds, he only got 5, and y'all didn't get it done. So I should say, well, Daryl ain't the GOAT because Reg didn't get all his rebounds. So they couldn't perform. They couldn't, since he didn't get his extra 5 rebounds, Daryl couldn't succeed. So I should not call you the GOAT because of somebody on your team not doing their part. Can you control how many rebounds Reg get?
Hold on. So
answer my question.
No, that's 2 different arguments.
No, that's not
arguments.
No.
You saying Joe Montana had all this talent. I'm saying he had that talent and he won. I'm saying, you know what? Tom Brady had the talent and he didn't win. So what are you saying?
Man, you was definitely dropped on your head at birth. You was definitely dropped on your head at birth.
I keep forgetting. You only know stats. You can't. It's hard for you to comprehend the intricacies of team sport. But that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say this, Tom. Okay, you want to give him credit, and then I'm gonna say, I say Aaron Rodgers blew it more so than Tom Brady won it.
So what?
I mean, I'm just saying.
So what?
Because when you're talking about the greatest, then you can't say, okay, well, he was the greatest, but he had 3 interceptions in the second half.
Oh, okay.
But it'll be a whole different.
Okay, so Tom Brady is not the greatest. So Tom Brady is not considered the greatest because the quarterbacks that he's going against didn't have good games. What sense does that make?
I said he didn't have a good game.
Who?
Tom Brady didn't have a good
He
game.
didn't have to have a good game, dude. That game, you
Okay.
can look.
Okay.
Last week's games was supposed to have been real top-notch games that we couldn't wait to see. But when you really look at it, neither game was close. Don't look at the scores. Those games were both won by the defenses that won the game. Okay, Tampa Bay defense was all over Aaron Rodgers. And then them three, and this is the crucial part out of all that whole situation is that Tom Brady threw 3 straight interceptions in the third quarter. And Aaron Rodgers,
and that's your greatest of all time.
Man, come on, man. He still threw for 3 touchdowns. Come on, okay. And two of the interceptions really wasn't his fault.
No, all
two of them were tipped. No, two of them
was his fault.
Two of them was tipped by the offense. No, go back and look at the tape, man. Don't think you're the only one got technology. I can go back and pull up the tape. You go pull up the tape. Two of the 3 interceptions, dude, were tipped before they were intercepted. And one of them that he threw, he had to throw it because they was finna ready to sack him. They had blitzed him, and he just threw it up in the air to try to give Evans a chance to go up and get it. So I don't even blame that. He was trying to avoid the sack and just throw it deep and try to give a 50-50 ball to Evans to try to make that catch. So, okay. But even going back from that, back what I was saying. So he throws 3 capitalized on either one of them. And you know what? Part of it was because Aaron Rodgers just pretty much, I ain't gonna say had a bad game because his stats ended up pretty good. But Tampa Bay defense, those 3 key possessions where they did not allow Green Bay to take advantage of those turnovers was the turning point of the game. Keep in mind, right after the third quarter, man, after the running back fumble for Green Bay, man, and Tampa Bay, the very next play went and got a touchdown. And right before halftime, with 1 second to go, which is one of the biggest defensive lapses I've seen ever in football, where they got a touchdown with 1 second to go before halftime. The score was 28-10 early in the third quarter, dude. 28-10. So forget about how the game ended, what the score was. The game was over, man. The game was over.
You actually just proved my point. But we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back and we'll get some predictions on the Super Bowl. Great matchup. Tom Brady.
We're gonna talk about Kansas City and Buffalo too, man. What you doing?
I don't want to talk about them. That ain't even nothing to talk about.
Yes, it's something to talk about, man. It's something we got to get the fans. It's not about you all the time. Quit being selfish. You always think everything is about you. You don't pick and choose what you go. We are here to talk about the NFC and AFC.
Well, you took up the first segment talking about Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's because you was saying some stupid stuff, and I had to correct you. Now, if you're gonna keep saying stupid stuff for 30 minutes, I'm gonna correct you for 30 minutes.
And I kept trying to tell you he's not the GOAT, but nonetheless, we'll move forward with we'll briefly touch on Kansas City and Buffalo. I don't see too much to talk about. It is what it is.
Tanya Covington Realtor, a multi-million-dollar producer in the Mid-South since October 2000. She is an accredited buyer's representative, a seller's representative specialist, and committed to excellence. Tanya assists her clients with budgeting, home repairs, and the loan process, all the way to closing. Tanya exemplifies integrity, energy, hard work, and creative service in every detail of her real estate transaction. She has built a successful career in real estate for over 19 years in the Mid-South. Clients chose to work with Tanya for her full-service team, ethics, experience, and expertise. Her base is strong, full of loyal, repeat customers. And that is the reason Tanya has been so successful in this incredibly competitive sales environment. Tanya's extensive knowledge of the Mid-South residential real estate market is unparalleled. Her clients have consistently sought her advice and trusted her judgment on many deals. A woman of faith, family, and community. Tanya believes one is not defined by what he or she receives, but by what he or she gives. Please call Tanya anytime without obligation. She is ready to go to work for you today.
Tanya Covington, your home girl. 901-870-5337. All your real estate needs. She can take care of you from start to finish.
I approve this message.
And before I go any further, let me we didn't get a chance to shout out to the official sponsor of all the In the Clutch Sports Talk and More podcasts, Miss Lily Mae, Adria Ross, Lily Mae Handmade Aromatherapy Products, the official sponsor of In the Clutch Sports Talk and More. We got a promo code Clutch FF20. So if you order something, make sure you put in that promo code to let her know that you saw her advertisement on our show. And before I forget,
the boss, Adria Ross.
We always try to give back here on the show. So we got a Valentine's Day contest coming up where we're giving away a gift basket. I think it's estimated value around $150. First and foremost, you must subscribe to the channel on YouTube, In the Clutch Sports Talk and More podcast. To enter the contest, email us at intheclutchpodcast@gmail.com and enter Clutch FF20 on the subject line. You will be entered, and we're going to have a drawing February the 12th on our Freaky Over 40 show. So that's the Friday before Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
so,
and that'll be the day I'll be leaving out of town, going on my 1-year wedding anniversary, going down to Pensacola again to enjoy some of that good weather. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dress Daryl up in a Cupid's outfit, nice and snug, with an arrow on his back, with the basket, and he's gonna deliver it right to you. So the only thing I'm saying is, don't laugh. Grab your basket from him before you start laughing at him. I don't want some of that stuff there is breakable.
And what he said is only partly true. But anyway, let's get back to the show. You wanted to talk about Kansas City and Buffalo, and I'm like, okay, let's go. What you want? What you got to say about that game?
Well, like I said earlier, these two games right here were sort of disappointing. I mean, for the build-up and how competitive it was supposed to be, being and all that, it was far from that, And the Buffalo Bills just wet the bed. I mean, there's no other ways to put it. It was some questionable play calling in that game. You can't beat Kansas City. Anybody know? I think our kids, our grandkids know you can't beat Kansas City with field goals. And even though Kansas City scored 38 points, the defense actually won the game for Kansas City. And the reason why I say that is Buffalo scored, 23 points? They got 2 touchdowns. But the very first touchdown came off of a muff punt at the 1-yard line. And Kansas City scored. And Buffalo scored. And then Buffalo got a late game, a touchdown late in the game when the game was out of reach. So you take those, you take those 2 touchdowns away from their 23-point total. That leaves 9 points, which is 3 field goals. So really, the Kansas City Chiefs only gave up 9 points, in my opinion. So they totally wet the bed. And I just know that the Buffalo Bills defenders are seeing Tyreek Hill and Kelsey in their sleep. Matter of fact, they may be still catching passes as we speak. That was just ridiculous. Their defense has come so far in the last 4 or 5 weeks, starting to get some steam with that offense, clicking on all cylinders, and to wet the bed like that. I know they're tough. It's easier said than done to hold those 2 guys, man. But Kelsey just had his way. As a matter of fact, I think Kelsey had 10 catches for 110 yards in the first half alone. The first half alone. There's no other way to say it. Buffalo, you had a great season, but you wet the bed. You wet the bed. And coach, I hope this is a learning experience to you going into next season. When you play the Kansas City Chiefs, you don't go for field goals. You don't go for field goals. You did a great job at it. I'm not criticizing you or anything like that. But the biggest game, Buffalo hadn't did none since the 90s. And when they tried to do something in the 90s, my Cowboys, took care of that ass twice. So all that sadness you had back in the 90s, all that sadness you had back in the 90s, you had a chance for redemption. You had a chance, the biggest game in Buffalo in the last 20 years. And when you get there, you try to kick field goals against Kansas City. Bad move.
Okay, so let me just quickly educate you on why they end up losing the game. And it's very simple. It's easy to defend the team when that team can only do one thing, which is pass the ball. If you ain't got a running game, and I don't have to worry about the running game, it's easier for me to concentrate on the pass rush and stopping you. So, I mean, that's just simple. They got away with it the week before, but they weren't able to get away with it against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the bottom line of that.
You know what? I think we need to change spots, and I need to be the host of the show. We're going to let the viewers decide, because what he's saying is blasphemy. And the reason why I'm saying it's blasphemy, Buffalo.
That's not even up for debate.
Okay, what I'm just saying, it should be, because listen to what you say. Claire Hilaire didn't even have 50 yards rushing, dude. He didn't even have 15 yards. Hold on, let me finish. He didn't even have 15. He didn't have 15. Will you let me finish?
No, because I'm finna counter what you're saying.
No, don't counter until I get my
point out. What you're talking about? How? Okay, when Kansas City run that jet sweep, that's considered like basically a run. Does Buffalo have the same offensive firepower to run those? No.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
When Hardeman takes that quick pass, that's just like a run. So their run game is incorporated in their pass game. That's why they're able to do it. But Buffalo doesn't have the firepower to do that.
And I promise you, ladies and gentlemen,
don't you worry about content of the team.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, you watch the game. Ladies and gentlemen, you watch the game. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you watch the game. He must have been watching a different one, because the jet sweeps and all that stuff, they probably ran that less than 5 times. So that's not a valid point. They didn't even hardly run. They didn't even hardly run the jet sweep. Matter of fact, less than 5 times.
What they got to run it for if they got Kelsey and Tyreek catching 2-yard passes and taking it for 30 or 40 yards? That's the difference.
Your point was that. No, your point was
that's their running game. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, and you don't understand that.
You trying to overtalk me and look, dude.
No, because what you're saying don't make
sense. Buffalo defense screwed up and wet the bed because Buffalo knew they was passing 99% of the time because they didn't have a rushing game. So Buffalo did not have an excuse not to prepare better for those receivers.
Let me ask you this. When they played the first time, how many yards did Claire have?
What difference did that make? We talking about this game.
No, I'm asking.
We dissecting this game.
Do you know how many yards he had the first game?
It don't matter.
No, you probably don't. So I'm finna educate you. He had 162 yards the first game. So what does that mean? That means the threat of a running game is there. That's the difference. When I try to educate you on stuff, you fall short because you the stat guy. Remember, don't try to break down game plans and stuff. Just call out the stats at the end of the game.
Look, man, don't talk about what happened back in week 4. That's old news, man. We're talking about the matchup.
What I'm telling you is, if it's not a threat of a run game, which obviously, if he had 162 yards the first game, they were worried about him running the ball. So they had to account for him running the ball. Whereas Buffalo, they ain't had a running game in the last 8 weeks, so they weren't worried about them running. That's the difference. So you keep your ass over there in the commentary spot. Don't you ever talk about taking the host spot, because you ain't ready for this.
Man, look, you don't know.
Now, so you can get yourself back together.
You better take a commercial break.
When we come back, we're gonna talk about some of these new hire coaches. No, I don't think it was some recycle coaches this time, but it was some coaches. You probably don't know their name. Some of them young, and of course, wasn't too many minorities.
Elite Legacy Logistics. Rise and shine. Let's grind. Are you a carrier? Tired of doing all the hard work yourself? Let me help with that. Are you aspiring to become a truck driver? I can help with that too. Join this $800 billion industry. Let me do the hard work so you don't have to. The best is the least that we can do. Call or text 954-414-7115. You can also email us at info@elitelegacy.net. Got a truck? We have loads. Must have valid MC number.
Here's the good thing about progress, and I'm going to call this progress. The one good thing about this weekend in the AFC and NFC championship game, you had 4 black coordinators. I don't know if that's ever happened before, but they made a note of it. We had Byron Leftwich was offense coordinator for Tampa Bay. Todd Bowles, defense coordinator for Tampa Bay. We had Eric Bieniemy, offense coordinator for Kansas City, and we got Leslie Frazier, defense coordinator for Buffalo. That's progress. And along with that, Tampa Bay had 2 other assistants. The assistant head coach, Harold Goodwin, he's with Tampa Bay. Keith Armstrong, special teams coach with Tampa Bay. So it's progress being made on the lower level. And the only thing we can hope for is that it moves up to the head coaching level and move up to general manager and maybe one day ownership.
Hey, first of all, man, give a shout out to Marty White. Boy, Marty, sit up there, the starting shooting guard for the 1989 runner-ups for the Treadwell High School Eagles, man. It's an honor. It's an honor to have you on the show, my brother. It's an honor to have you on the show.
I think he just celebrated a birthday too.
I think Marty turned the big 5-0.
Oh, is it the
Congratulations, my brother. Drinks on you next time we see you.
Everybody said drinks on you. But yeah, look, man. Dan Rooney would be rolling over in his grave with the non-progress of the hiring of African American coaches, man. I think one of the biggest snubs of the whole thing to me is not only the names that you mentioned over there in Tampa Bay, but what about that bad offense coordinator over there with the Chiefs, Bieniemy? How many times is this guy going to get looked over? I just don't get it. And some of the hires that they made didn't even just make sense. It didn't make sense. It's like, how much more do you have to prove yourself to sit up there and to get a chance, an opportunity, a valid opportunity? Not one of those, hey, we'll come in and interview you, just to please the Rooney Rule, but somebody who's genuinely wants you and you have a great opportunity to get that position. It's not happening, man. It's not happening. And to me, it's not good. And times are they're not changing. And, and I want to first of all, and I hate to say this to you and Marty, but I got to give kudos to the San Francisco organization. And what I mean by that is they didn't have anything directly to do with it, but I heard they gave a lot of rave reviews, which they didn't have to because action speaks for itself. The new coach over there for the New York Jets, that's going to be a good hire. I'm telling you. And it's not more so about, he's a defensive oriented coach, but he has discipline with him. And it goes to show what he did over there for that San Francisco defense. Those guys go to war every week. I said before, I'll say it again. The 49ers, to me, they had a disappointing season, but for what they had to work with, and they still got out there and fought. Dude, that's the type of coach I want. That's the type of organization I want to be a part of. You don't quit. You work with what you got. San Francisco worked with, they had, 20 people on the IR, and they still was competitive and still was in the playoff hunt up until the last 3 weeks of the regular season. You can't get any better than that. So kudos to the Jets for making that hire. Great hire for you. And,
you may be getting Mr. Watson coming over there pretty soon. I heard that's one of his destinations, which was a surprise. But that's one of his destinations, and he may have been thinking like he said he liked the coach over there. And what's his name? What's the coach's name?
Robert Saleh.
Robert Saleh. So he said he liked what he saw with Robert Saleh, and I think he was left there thinking too that I may be getting a number one receiver over there too, because rumor is they trying to get that boy out of Alabama with the number 2 pick.
Well, that ain't gonna be hard because Jacksonville gonna get Trevor Lawrence from Clemson, so that ain't no hard reach to get him at number 2.
Right. So that's what, yeah, but keep in mind.
Okay, so we got offense. The guy for the Eagles, offense. He was offense. What's his name? Nick Sirianni. He was offensive coordinator.
What his name? What his name?
Nick Sirianni.
Who?
Exactly. But okay, I mean, never heard of him before, but we heard of Eric Bieniemy. Okay, Dan Campbell in Detroit.
Who?
Never heard of him, really. Yeah, tight end coach for the Saints. He was a former player for Detroit, so he got Detroit ties. So I can kind of understand that one.
That don't mean nothing. Just because you played for him don't mean nothing.
Just saying, he got ties with them, so I can put the dots together on that one. Okay, down in Jacksonville, you got Urban Meyer. Can't really say that's a bad pick. It ain't. I wouldn't call it the greatest because we never know how college to pro gonna work.
Man, look, he's
I'm just saying.
He came into the job arrogant. Well, I got to get $12 million, dude. What have you done in the pros? What have you proven? Don't just go by your college credentials, because 80% of the coaches that came out of college, 80% of the coaches that came out of college, they failed. Except somebody like Jimmy Johnson.
Well, I was gonna say,
with the exception of Jimmy Johnson,
he got the Jimmy Johnson mentality, so that might work. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's a bad hire, but
how much
I'm not saying it's a bad hire. But you as Jacksonville, you've been sucking for years, and this man, even though this is the guy you want,
they ain't really been sucking for years. They just was in the AFC Championship game a couple years ago. So
no, not a couple years ago. Do your homework. No, it's not a couple years ago, sir.
Well, it ain't been that long ago.
Kansas City been in the AFC Championship the last 3 years. So don't say comp. Don't say
it ain't been that far ago. It wasn't that long ago.
I'll tell you what. You try to do the stats and Google that. Google that and see when the last time they were relevant.
I gotta Google it. I just told you.
Well, quit speaking stuff you don't know about.
They just got beat in the AFC Championship game not too long ago.
Yeah, about 7 years ago.
That wasn't no 7 years ago. That was just 2 or 3 years ago, right before Jalen Ramsey went over to the Rams. So that wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
And they just had a suck quarterback who just couldn't get it together. Okay, we got Arthur Smith down in Atlanta.
When was the last time the Jacksonville Jaguars went to the playoffs?
Here's a summary from Champs or Chumps. They've been in the playoffs a total of 7 times.
Ask the right question. Ask when the last time they was in the AFC Championship game.
Oh, okay.
If you want to try to use some
last time Jacksonville Jaguars was in the AFC Championship game.
Got to tell him what to say.
According to CBS Sports, it happened in the 1999 AFC Championship game played in Jacksonville.
Oh,
that wasn't the last time.
Oh, well, I'm just asking Google. So Google lied to me. Let me make sure.
That ain't right.
The last time the Jacksonville Jaguars made it to the AFC Championship.
Oh my goodness. I'll look it up.
According to Wikipedia, Jacksonville is one of 4 teams to have never played in a Super Bowl. They have played in the AFC Championship in the 1996, 1999, and 2017.
I stand corrected. You are correct. I stand corrected. 2017. Okay. But they've only been, 3 years?
I mean,
1996, 1999, and 2017.
Okay. And you said that to say what? I ain't say that. I'm just saying they have had success. They just ain't had continual success. So, I mean, it is what it is. They need stability. That's what they need.
No, and both of us agree on that, sir. We agree that I said I hate the way he just come in for God. Hey, it's my way or the highway. I gotta have 12 million. Man, who are you? I'm not saying you a bad
I
hire,
mean,
but who are
I
you?
mean, I think he's just trying to come in and set the tone. I mean, that's just how
Set the
he is.
tone. He sit his
He
ass
did the
down.
same when he came from Florida and went to Ohio State.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Okay.
if he come in and win, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Only if they lose, which I think he'll turn the program around. I think they just lacking discipline. So if he can instill that, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. And JC, what's up, my guy? You got a interesting point that he just said that follow all the leagues in the SEC. When it comes to hiring black coaches, that is black women coach. There are at least 6 or 7 black women coaches in the SEC. I didn't know that, but that's good. So we do see progress a little bit. At least we can say on the college level as far as the women are concerned. But my main concern is the NFL.
Well,
The
I think Washington just hired a black female coach. So that's gonna take time. That too will
How
come.
much time we got? How much time do we have?
I
It's
mean,
2021, and the Rooney Rule started. The
we
Rooney
got a
Rule started
female
when?
we got a female referee in the
Okay,
Super
go.
Bowl. So it's gonna take time. It ain't gonna be overnight. I mean, and it ain't even about uh the Rooney Rule, because that's just a BS rule. It ain't that ain't I mean, just because I bring you in to interview you, all it do is give you some experience interviewing, because that's all you hear, that the general manager say, well, this guy came in and we were blown away by his interview, or this guy came in and he was a little shaky on his interview. So I mean,
But
what
you
is the
know what,
criteria to be a head
Eric?
coach? If I was Eric Bieniemy, I just sit where I'm at and wait on Andy Reid to leave, which I don't think he gonna be coaching that much long. I'd wait my time and just
Shit, man,
inherit
Andy Reid gonna be there
Patrick
as long as
Mahomes.
Mahomes there. Andy Reid gonna be there. Andy Reid be in a wheelchair with oxygen on. As long as Mahomes there, Andy Reid ain't going nowhere.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
Okay, well, I'm
I
just
mean,
telling you. Okay,
I'd rather stay where I'm at than to go get one of these jobs that you ain't gonna win, because the organization ain't gonna be behind you, and then they're gonna say, see, that's why we don't hire blacks. Because if you look at the list, we got Todd Bowles. He the defensive coordinator for Tampa Bay. He was a coach for the Jets. He didn't win there. That looked bad. We got Leslie Frazier, Minnesota Vikings, 21-32 and 1 record. That don't look good. So when you go in
okay.
with those type of records, playing, being an organization that you was in, and then you come into a meeting and they say, well, what was your record? Oh, I lost more than I won. They don't want to hear that. Now
Well, you know what?
they need to start getting jobs that they can get in and win. That's
Well,
what they need.
you know what? But let me just say this. Everybody is not meant to be a head coach, and those 2 names that you just mentioned are defensive coordinators, and they are hella defensive coordinators. Always have been in the NFL. But when they had their chances to be head coaches, they couldn't quite do it. So sometimes,
So
you
you
know,
saying they don't deserve another chance?
no, I'm not saying don't put words in my mouth. I'm
Well,
not saying
no,
they don't
I'm
deserve another chance,
asking.
but I just made a comment that all coaches are not all defensive coordinators are not meant to be head coaches. We had one over there, Phillips. We had Phillips over there. Phillips was a hell of a defense coordinator. He's done it for the Rams. He's done it for a few teams, man. He got a couple more teams that he actually did it for. A hell of a defense coordinator. But when he's over there with the Cowboys, with all that talent, he couldn't get it done. And that's when Jason Garrett took over. He couldn't get it done. He just couldn't get it done.
I mean, who have?
But that's my point. I'm just saying that some people are just not ready to be head coaches. They may
I
when you
mean,
look at them on the outside looking in, they
that's
may look
fine,
like
but
great.
that's fine. But what I'm saying, white, some of them don't deserve, aren't head coaches, but they get second and third chances. The point I'm making, when you the black coach, you pretty much got one shot at it if you get it. I mean, the only successful, and I mean, Art Shell, I think he was successful, and then he
Oh,
had a
what
decline.
what 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 did
Dennis
Arshell do?
Green,
What did
Art Shell,
Arshell
I
do?
mean, I ain't saying they won no Super Bowl or none, but he turned them from bottom feeders to at least legitimate contenders.
Okay.
Dennis Green, he came in and changed to Minnesota and Eric, turned both of them around. Them the only two off the top of my head that I can really think of.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's just a bad percentage. That's a bad percentage out
yeah,
of
I mean,
all the
okay,
coaches.
but the point I'm making is, okay, how Josh McCown even up for a head coaching position?
Yo, me and you on the same page. When I saw that, I just knew that had to be a typo.
That's
I
what I'm
just knew it had
saying.
to be a typo.
So how can you even, okay, I forgot Mike Tomlin. I'm sorry, Kevin Early, my brother. Thanks for Mike Tomlin.
Only reason he knew that answer because he is still a fan. That's the only reason. That's the only
Yeah,
reason.
I don't
But
know
thank you
how
for
that
that.
slipped my
Thank you for
mind.
that, Kevin Early. You helped us out with that.
Yeah, he
Gave us.
on but what team? What team? What team? The
The Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh
Steelers.
Steelers. Dan Rooney. Thank you. You see what I'm saying? They come from an organization that got stability. Just because you go 8-8 or 9-7, they ain't finna turn around and be like, "Oh, we got to get rid of the coach now." I mean, they let him. Even when they don't make the playoffs, you don't hear no talk about, "Oh, Tomlin might be out. He on the hot seat." That's the difference in ownership.
But you know what? I can understand some of that stuff is 50-50, but I'm still confused about how Eric Bieniemy, who's taken the Kansas City Chiefs to the AFC Championship game the last 3 years with that offense, and keep in mind, he's had some injuries with his wide receivers, but the other ones, the
If I was,
Hardemans and all that step
if I
in
was,
and
if
do.
I was him, I wouldn't want to go to Houston. I wouldn't want to go to Houston under their ownership just because of their ownership. I'm, I'm
Agreed.
hoping I'm hoping Rollup Saleh do good with the Jets. I'm hoping he do, but I mean, come on, it's the Jets. It's the
Can,
Jets.
can you imagine? And the Jets is not a bad team. The Jets is very competitive. I think they had the wrong guy at the helm over there. I believe the new coach is going to do some wonders. And I really believe some kind of way that Watson is going to find himself out of Houston and over there with the Jets. Their defense is solid. I mean, I think they need to go out and get them another running back because Gore, he's been playing, I mean, lights out for his age and all that, but he's not going to get it. He's not going to get it. You got to find you a good quality running back to take the pressure off of Watson if he decides to go over there. But if they get that number one receiver out of Alabama and that defense starts to, and that guy puts his blueprint on the defense, the new coach, I think the Jets will be a surprise uh, favorite. And I know it may sound stupid for the AFC East next year.
We're gonna take a quick commercial break. We come back. We got a little mini tribute.
Are you in need of a professional yard service? Call Ernest Payne at Payne's Lawn Service. He provides a quote and a free estimate for gutter cleaning, leaf removal, mulching, flower beds, edging, family plots, and fallen limb removal. No job is too small for Ernest Payne. He can be reached at 901-620-7469.
Yeah, before we go on with the show, I was just looking at something today and realized that today, I don't even want to call it anniversary, but it was 1 year ago today that Kobe and his daughter and those other 7 people were killed on that helicopter. And I'm a Lakers fan, I'm a Kobe fan, so of course, I wanted to try to quick moment of silence for him and the families. I had kind of got over it a little bit because I hadn't really been talking about it and thinking about it, but it just it's still sad and it's still kind of hard to deal with. So I'm gonna just take a quick moment of silence, not that long, just to give my condolences again to the family. Yeah. Man, it's still hard even talking about it.
Yeah, man. COVID, man. Um, I didn't realize it too very early this morning too. When I watched it on CNN, man. I mean it's I'm not saying you ever get over it, but it's been a year ago today, and you seem like you're getting better, but to just bring it back up, just relive some old wounds, man. This guy was not only one of the greatest ever to put on a Laker uniform or NBA uniform, uh, for that matter, but he was a great individual, great father, and all that. And for all the ones that the families that lost loved ones on this tragedy, on behalf of In the Clutch, we send our sincere condolences and prayers with you guys. And it's just sort of tough to talk about, but we had to give him homage. I'm glad you uh, decided to put this on the show and put things in perspective. I always say, tomorrow is not promised. Um, so if you got any kind of hate or animosity or whatever in your heart, let it go. Let it go, because things can happen within the blink of an eye. We all know God makes no mistakes, but this was a tough one to deal with.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Uh, we weren't even really gonna talk about no NBA, but I want to get something in right quick before we jump on this Conor McGregor, because we almost time to close the show out. I don't know about this New York Nets experiment with Harden, Kyrie, and KD.
It's sort of suspect over there, man.
You know, I mean, they lost 2 games in a row to the Cavaliers. I mean, I give them the first game because that was Kyrie first game back, but then you lose to him again. How that happen?
It's still early in the season too, so I'm gonna give him get that benefit of the doubt. But I remember back in the days where your Lakers, man, put together that fabulous starting five over there with Gary
No,
Payton and Karl
no,
Malone, Shaq
no,
and Kobe
no.
and all. No,
Karl,
what,
Karl Malone was 77 years old. Come on now.
dude?
Gary
Karl
Payton
Malone,
wasn't even, Gary
you,
Payton wasn't in the glove no more. He
dude.
was he
It
was
don't
the
matter.
mid.
Them was the from 3 to 5. Those other players, along with a young Kobe and a pretty young Shaq, man, they still supposed to sit up there and got it done. They were
No.
very serviceable. They weren't the old Karl Malone. They weren't the old Gary Payton, but they were serviceable. So don't use that for no excuse. See,
Did either one of them play after that season?
you know what, man? You
Did
just
either
too
one of them
biased.
play
You
after
too
that
biased
season?
for me, man. When you get all in your feelings, man, when I talk about your
No,
team, I
no,
mean, some of that stuff
no,
hurts,
no.
man.
I
When I
mean,
talk about the 49ers, when
that
I
ain't
talk
no
about the
super
49ers,
team.
when I talk
That
about
ain't
the
no super
49ers,
team.
when I
That ain't no
talk about
super
the
team.
Lakers, when I talk about the Lakers, you get all pissy. You get all pissy. I
No,
mean, the
if
fact
you
of the
want to
matter
talk about
is that's going to go down as one of the biggest disappointments in NBA history.
no, it don't. No, it
No,
don't.
yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
Are you a Lakers fan?
No,
Okay, so if you ain't a Lakers fan, don't tell me how it's the most disappointing season, because it wasn't. Because
I'm a
Karl
basketball fan.
Malone,
I'm a basketball fan.
but you're not a
I'm a
Lakers fan.
basketball fan.
But you're not a
No, I'm not.
Lakers fan. And I'm
But
telling you, Karl Malone and Gary Payton were over the hill. All they was doing was coming over to hang
okay,
on to win a championship.
okay. Well,
That ain't no big disappointment.
okay. Well, the Lakers. Well, Kobe and Shaq gave they sign also, so they wanted them to be over there. It ain't like that they sit up there
No
and
matter
beg
if
them
they
like we're
want
gonna.
them to be over there. Yeah, you want
Okay,
somebody to be over there
yeah,
just
okay.
because
So they must have thought that they still was good enough to win.
No, they ain't
Yeah,
win. So evidently they wasn't good enough to win. They didn't
I
win.
said they thought they was good enough to win.
No, they ain't think that. You can
Yeah,
think all you want, but actions. But what happened? Thank you. They didn't win it.
I
Yeah,
see. You know
It
what?
looked
I
good
tell
on
you what.
paper. It
Mr.
looked good
Early,
on paper.
I'm good. I'm good at apologizing when I'm wrong. So my sincere, I know this hurt you real bad, so I won't bring that up again because you get all in your feelings when I try to, talk about your team. So
Nah,
no,
it
just
ain't
be
that.
quiet,
I just
just be
don't like
quiet,
when
and
people don't know what they're talking about.
let
It
me.
bothers me
Okay,
when people don't know what they're talking about.
you're right. I apologize to you,
And
man.
then try to tell me it was the worst. No, it wasn't the worst. None expectation. I mean, you look
Well,
at it. We expect to win every year, but that wasn't no biggest disappointment because Karl Malone and Gary Payton came over in their later years. Now, if that
why
would have
you?
been the young Gary Payton and the young Karl
You know
Malone,
what?
yeah,
We talk about what's going over there in the Capitol about democracy, man. You preach about democracy, but but when it comes over to sports, you don't preach about democracy. I got my opinion. My opinion was that was one of the worst all time in NBA history. Don't am I entitled to my opinion? I mean, I thought that's what democracy was, where everybody's entitled to say what they feel, right or wrong, bad or indifferent. I thought that's what it was.
Or did you say that was the biggest disappointment to the Lakers?
No, I said
Because if
that's
you
one
said
of the
to the
biggest
Lakers,
disappointments.
if you said to the Lakers, that don't include you because you ain't part of the Lakers. You're not a fan of ours.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, man. I just thought don't get on here preaching me and being all Farrakhan when it come down to the tough subjects. But being Farrakhan when it come down to the tough subject. But when we talk about something like this, then you want to say it's not like that. Look, I am a
No, I mean,
American. I am an American man, and I am entitled to
I
my
get
opinion.
you entitled to your opinion, but I mean, I get tired of correcting you all the time.
You can't
You
correct
ought to
me
be
on my
trying to
opinion if
insulate.
it's my opinion. You can't do that. What do you do that at?
Your statements were flawed. Now, if you want to
Okay.
say it was the biggest disappointment to me, which if it was the biggest disappointment to Terry, then yeah, you can have that one. But it wasn't the biggest disappointment to the Laker nation. No, it wasn't.
Okay. They were predicted to win the NBA finals that year. That's all I'm gonna say.
Based on what? Because
They were predicted to win the now. I bet you
they had
that's fact.
future
I bet
Hall
you
of Fame
go back and
players.
look at that. They were predicted to win the NBA finals that year.
Okay, and who was
But they got
predicted?
beat by a young and gritty Detroit Piston team
Who was
with Ben
predicted to win?
Wallace.
Who was predicted to win it last year?
Wait, look, what are you talking about? We're talking about this particular situation. Why you keep
Okay,
jumping the subject?
I'm asking you who was predicted to win it
No, no,
last
no, no,
year.
no. Y'all thought y'all was gonna sweep. Y'all thought y'all was gonna sweep the Detroit Pistons. Okay.
Okay, now you talking about
Isaiah
some.
Thomas and
You
you
talking
thought
about
no,
some.
Isaiah
You
Thomas
talking
and
about
all them
some 15 years ago.
Joe
I asked
Dumars,
you a
Robert
simple
Staley.
question. Who
I'm just Ben
was picked
Wallace.
to win it last year? Who was picked to win it
Man, we
last
talking
year?
about that. Dude, I tell you what, man. We gonna leave that alone. We're gonna leave that alone, man.
Thank
This guy
you.
right here,
You said, just like you tell me to stay out of Cowboy business, stay out of Laker business. You ain't no Laker fan. You can't talk on us.
all right. Well, don't bring this type of topic on the show, man. Don't tell me we're gonna talk about a certain thing before we get on the show. And when I talk about it, you get mad at me.
I ain't said nothing about the Lakers. I was talking about the Nets, and you jumped on the Lakers.
I made an example with the Lakers, man, when we were talking
Exactly.
about the
So
Nets.
you jumped on the Lakers, and I'm telling you.
Tomato, 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 tomato. But you know what? One thing I do want to sit up there and mention is the battle that's been going on with Shaq and Charles Barkley with Kevin Durant, man. That is comical. That is it's comical, man.
It is, but I mean, I
It's
look at
comical.
it. Sometimes I just think, I mean, part of it is them doing their job, and then part of it, I think they get so entrenched in the TV side of it that they forget at one point in time they were players too, and they forget how when announcers said the same, not the same thing, but similar things to them, that how upset they got. So I mean, you got to kind of balance that out a little bit. I get the
I
Shaq.
get it.
Shaq don't care. Him or Chuck, they don't care. They say what they say. And most of the time, it'd be pretty accurate. Be pretty accurate.
They
So
do a lot of that stuff, man, to get ratings, man. But like I said, Shaq, one of the greatest centers of all time. Some of the stuff he just say don't make any sense. Why would you tell Donovan Mitchell that you at your peak? I don't think you can get any better. Well, I mean, What I mean, I can understand you saying, you hadn't been performing up to your capabilities and something like that. But why would you sit up there and go on live TV and just say you're at your peak? You can't get any better.
I don't. Yeah,
I mean, that
I mean,
man's
I
ego.
don't know. I have to hear the whole conversation because I mean,
I told you exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said.
no, but it's other stuff that can be contributed to that. I mean, some people can't get no better. Some people are at their peak. Some people 15
Look,
points
look,
they
man.
average,
Are
they
you
gonna have
are you a prophet? Who are you to say when I'm at my peak? Donovan Mitchell ain't even 26, 27 years old. So why would
don't
you sit
matter.
up there? Yeah, it does matter.
What
It
did I
does
just
matter.
say? What did I just say? I just said some people they are at their peak.
So in Shaq's eyes, we need to go back to Shaq. The
I ain't
same
saying
person,
I ain't saying he's saying wrong.
that Kobe used to have to get on him and talk about it because he wouldn't get up for practice or eat a 2 dozen donuts like you be doing, and don't have no work ethic and all that type of stuff. So that's Shaq. Is qualified to tell. It's qualified to tell me.
Hold on. The Shaq who you just said one of the greatest centers ever. You talking? That's the same Shaq you talking about?
But you know what? He still was one of the greatest ever. But that don't mean that
Okay, well, I mean,
he could have been
that's what I'm saying.
he could have been the
That's what I'm
greatest center of
saying.
all time if he would have
Okay,
got
that's
out
what
there
I'm
and
saying.
practiced his free
Okay,
throws and
what
went through
was
his workout.
but
What?
what was he? But what was he? He was what he was. He was at his peak. That was his peak. His peak
No.
wasn't to be the greatest of all times ever. That was his peak. So maybe he's seeing the same thing in Donovan Mitchell. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't listen to Shaq. I
I mean,
think Donovan
I
Mitchell.
don't see how.
Yeah, has Donovan Mitchell been underachieving? Yeah, he has. But he's nowhere near the top of his peak, man.
Underachieving by
So
whose standards?
what?
Underachieving by whose standards?
Well, I'm looking at his style of play and his points per game over the last 3 years have been declining. So I'm going back. That's what I'm going by.
Okay, so
And
then
I'm sure that's got to be what Shaq is going by.
okay, so that means you agreeing with Shaq. So you arguing with the man, but you agreeing with him at the same time.
That don't mean that he at his peak, man, just because you had 3 bad years. I'm sure you got tons and tons of NBA players
You got
that
three.
have decreased and then
You got
found that fountain of youth. You had Derrick Rose from injuries and all that. His stuff was decreasing. And then all of a
Donovan
sudden,
Mitchell
the
been
last
injured.
2 years,
Donovan Mitchell been injured.
man,
I'm just asking, has he been injured?
I don't know. You tell me since
Has
you watch.
anybody counted him out like they did Derrick
Do,
Rose? I
do,
mean, that's
do
why I'm
you
trying to
watch?
tell you.
How
That's
many
what I'm
times
trying
you
to
watch?
tell you.
How many times have you watched
It's
Donovan Mitchell
more.
on TV this year? How
It's
many times have
more.
you watched him on TV?
I only saw him once. It's more.
Okay, well, you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. If you ain't
Well, I
got but
can't
one
tell you
game,
something.
if you got one game to base your comments on, you can't say nothing to me
I'm
because
basing my
I've watched
comments.
multiple games, so I got
I'm
more to
basing
say
my
than you do.
comments on what you just said. You just
No,
said
no,
his stats been going down the last 3 years.
I got more credibility than you. I've watched
How
multiple
you
games.
got
You
more
only watching one
credibility?
game.
And
You watched one game.
did you not just say his stats went down the last 3 years?
Yeah, because I've been watching them. That's the reason why I know that because
No,
I've been watching them.
his stats didn't go down because you watching him. His stats went down because he is what he is. Ain't got nothing to
Okay,
do with because you watching him. And
okay.
that's why I said I couldn't answer the question because I don't know the whole totality of what Shaq
Well,
said.
I know I know the totality. I just told you the totality.
You ain't told me nothing.
I
So
told
you
you what I've
so
seen, what
so
I've
what?
noticed,
Okay,
what I've watched.
so you saying the same thing Shaq saying. So you arguing about Shaq, but you saying the same thing. How that make sense?
You see what I got to deal with every freaking Monday, Tuesday. What's the day?
That's
He got me. I don't
that's
even know
what
my
I'm talking
days of the
about.
week.
I
Every
know that's
freaking
what I'm
Tuesday,
talking about.
I got to go through this, man.
That's
I
exactly
just,
what I'm talking about.
I need an intelligent host, man. I need an intelligent host.
I think. Look, I'm putting out. I'm sending out applications. I need a co-host, a co-commentator, because this guy is just running my pressure. Because I mean, I'm tired of toting this guy already.
No, them,
I'm
them
tired of
Twinkies,
toting
them
this guy.
Twinkies running your pressure up, not me.
I'm tired of toting this guy.
It's
I mean, I try to
it's
save him, but it ain't
it's
no
them
save.
it's them donuts and
I don't
Twinkies
know.
that
I don't
it's
know
them
what I
donuts and
can
Twinkies
do.
that's got your pressure up, not
I
me.
don't know what I can do. I don't know what I can do to help this guy out. I
Okay.
mean, I mean, what else can I do?
You the Skip Bayless, man. You just Daryl Bayless. That's what I'm gonna start calling you, Daryl Bayless. That's your name going forward.
Because I don't let you just say whatever. Because I
Daryl
hold
Bayless.
you accountable.
Daryl Bayless.
Because I hold you accountable for what you say on this show.
Daryl Bayless, man. I mean, you the greatest commentator, man, of all time. You the greatest. You the greatest host that I've ever seen.
I'm striving to be the best I can be, and wherever
Well,
I fall and wherever I land is
you didn't
fine
fail.
with me.
You didn't fail. You just won't get up.
It's fine as me. It's fine
You
with
just
me.
hey, you fail and you won't get up.
It's fine.
I
with
told
me.
you, man. You probably need to go back. You know, that's I think part of my investigative duties. I need to see your birth records because I'm telling you, you got dropped on your head a couple times. I know it. I know it. So I know it's some brachial fractures that's on your birth certificate. I know it is.
No.
But you know what? Once I get them and I can show the audience that you failed a couple times at birth, we can understand why you are, you know, who you are. I can't get mad at you if you.
Who was salutatorian?
Huh?
Who was salutatorian?
That's not. Look, dude.
Who barely made it through?
Out of 15 people.
Who barely made it
Out
through?
of a class of 15. Out the class of 15 people.
No, we had 88 in the class of 88.
Okay.
We had 88. We had 88 graduates. Okay. So I'm proud to say I graduated second. So,
but you didn't tell them how many. You didn't tell them how many remedial classes you took either. You didn't remedial class.
I take no remedial class. I was taking the top of the top.
Man.
I was,
man, look, man,
I was the best of the best of the best. I was the best of the best.
Hey man, don't make me.
See why you even run into that argument,
man.
Why you
don't make me go get.
Argument?
Don't make me. I'm not sure if Mr. Daniels. I'm not sure if Mr. Daniels is still living, but if I could get him on the show, man, to prove otherwise, I bet you took two classes with him, and he talked remedial math. I'm talking about that 2 + 2.
I barely even know who you're talking about.
Yo, Mr. Daniels. Yeah, you know. Yeah, that's because when you was in his class, you didn't do that. He was a remedial.
Look, how you and Reg, remember
you know what?
I'm sure
you know what? You know what?
Okay,
I remember back in the day. Okay. I remember back in the day where you and Reg Jones used to cheat off each other's paper in a remedial class.
First off, why would I need
I'm just saying
out of paper?
I say y'all was cheating off each other.
So that means I would be cheating off of his paper, and I'm
okay.
telling you.
Okay, so are you trying to say are you saying Reginald Jones was an idiot?
No, I'm saying
you already was an idiot being remedial.
I'm saying I didn't have to cheat off of anybody's paper. If anything, they were cheating off of my paper. You said they had to cheat off.
So if Reg was cheating off, okay, I'll give you that. So if Reg was cheating off your paper, are you saying your friend Reginald Jones was an idiot?
I didn't say he was an idiot.
If you cheating off your paper, in a remedial class, that constitutes an idiot.
If I ain't mistaken, and I might be wrong, out of the two people who on this screen right now, if anybody took remedial classes, it was you. It definitely wasn't me.
Man, I've been in the accounting field for 25 years, man. I know numbers in my sleep, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, I'm a white collar man, man. I'm a white collar man. Look, don't sit on talk about no remedial with me, man. I'm talking about y'all. I'm talking about.
That mean?
I'm a scholar.
You been an accountant? What that mean?
I'm a scholar.
What that mean?
I'm a scholar.
What that mean? That don't mean nothing.
I'm a scholar.
Look, we done went over the time. We ain't talking about no sports. Another great show. I hope everybody got some good laughs out of it.
Hey, you want to tell them a little bit about? You want to tell them a little bit about the upcoming Freaky Over 40 show that's coming up in the top?
No, I'm gonna tease them with it probably tomorrow because I want to get all the details down. But no,
okay. I just want to say if the viewers want to know, because you got some guys out there that would love this topic right here. So you want to Have a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend.
Now, I'll say this. Last week was all for the women, for sure. That was a woman's show. This week is definitely a guy's show. And we might have a little eye candy for you too. I don't know yet. We might have a little eye candy, but it's definitely a show for the men. So y'all might wanna tune in. But before I forget, we got this Valentine's Day basket we giving away. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube, In the Clutch Sports Talking More Podcast. Email us at intheclutchpodcast@gmail.com. In the subject line, enter Clutch FF20 to be entered into the contest. We will draw the names from the people who enter on February the 12th on the Freak Over 40 show. So it don't get no easier than that. Guys, ladies, it's something in there for the guys. It's something in there for the ladies. It's a total package. I think we got it valued around $150. So it's gonna be a nice basket for someone, preferably a couple, but it don't have to be. I mean, it don't matter to us. You know, we're gonna draw names. Whoever get it. But it's something in there for both male and female. And with that being said, you got anything else, the GOAT?
Yeah, I got one other thing, man. Please be sure to watch Real Talk with T. Will every Saturday, 3 p.m. Central Time. And if it's not real, we ain't gonna talk about it. So be prepared to come to war. That's what we do on that show right there. We're gonna talk about anything. We're gonna let our hair down, and we're gonna just talk about whatever we want to talk about. That way, everybody, I'm gonna show you how a real democracy is supposed to go. Because I'm not gonna get mad at you because of your opinion. I'm gonna let you have your opinion. I'm gonna have mine. That's what democracy is. So even though this show don't show that, Real Talk with T will, I guarantee you will, every Saturday, 3 p.m.
Nice self plug for your show. I feel like we do demonstrate democracy, but I'm not gonna let you try to influence what I should be thinking. I don't think that is democracy. You can have your opinion, I can have mine, we can disagree, but the whole thing is at the end of the day, we still can get along, still no issues and all of that. That's what it's all about.
Okay. Well, we had a great show, man. I appreciate you guys for checking in. Like and subscribe, man, and tell another person so they can tell another person. So anything you can do to help In the Clutch podcast and more sports talk, we would greatly appreciate it.
And we love you guys. We love you guys. We really do.
And as always,
right, man,
as of always, we were in the clutch.
Sports Talk, hosted by D. Early, 11 a.m. Tuesdays. Freaky Over 40, hosted by Shownuff Sharita, Friday, 7 p.m. Real Talk with T. Will, Saturdays, 3 p.m. In the Clutch podcast could not be possible without our sponsors. Tanya Covington Realtor, the realtor you can trust. Elite Legacy Logistics. You got trucks, we got loads. Payne Lawn Service for all your lawn maintenance needs. And last but not least, the official sponsor of all the In the Clutch Sports podcasts, Lily Mae, handmade aromatherapy products.